Welcome to the Out on a Limb podcast. We are all interconnected to a greater web of consciousness. Our aim is to open your mind to a new world through having open-minded discussions about what we perceive our reality to be.
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Out on a Limb podcast with your hosts, Will, Allison, and Samantha. And if you will notice, we have Samantha back.
I just realized why I always giggle when we start.
What?
It's because
Of my enthusiasm?
of your enthusiasm.
That's the point.
It's infectious. So it makes me giggle. So
Because we have fun. We want to have fun. It's exciting. However, if you have been following along in the meantime, without Samantha, we did only a 6-series podcast, only a 6 series. Not like we've been doing podcasts since we stopped in summer,
right.
but we just did a 6-week podcast series on Egypt, on our trip to Egypt. And if you watched already, the last one, I alluded to a special guest on a future upcoming podcast, and this was it. Although she's not really, she's our our indispensable third host.
I was thinking indispensable,
Right.
or I don't know.
What's right?
Yeah, indispensable, whatever. You know, we can't do without it. We can't. Yeah, we can't do the podcast. It's just not the same. All right. I will say, we don't mean to tease you, because we did make the difficult decision while Sam was up here this weekend to not move forward with the podcast in this way. And if you could see what was happening behind the scenes, that's kind of part of the reason when we moved up into this new space. This is why we put it on hiatus, and one of the reasons that we put it on hiatus. And so right now you can't see it, but we have things to muffle sound, because the sound in this room is different mics, different microphone stands, different chairs, because we don't have the table. We can't haul that up and down. We can't keep this stationary in a room. And so it's very difficult to move pieces of the set around. And so to set all of this up and then tear it all down, because we use the same room for a tea ceremony, for example, in a couple of hours, or to see a client or something like that, it's just challenging. And we have some trips planned. I know you have a trip in the spring, some things going on. And so it's just not feasible to continue in this fashion. So that's not to say that we won't maybe get together and throw out one here or there on YouTube, but we have a different direction that we're heading that we'll tell you at the end of this particular podcast. So stick around to the end after we catch up and give you a couple of lessons that we learned from someone's higher self recently, some wisdom for humanity. We'll share some profound announcements that you're going to not want to miss. All right. So with all of that, what have you been up to, Sam? We haven't really seen much of you since summer.
No, and it was interesting because, people were expecting to hear updates about my trip and all that kind of stuff. And I had no idea, because that was the first time I'd ever gone off on my own to do the minivan camping. I met up with Lori, but so much happened on that. And
Are you talking about the first long one?
Yeah, the first long one.
Because you took an intermediate one to Florida recently.
Yes. Okay. But the long one that I was going to do, report every day on and all that kind of stuff, I was literally brought to my darkest moments, down on my knees, literally on my knees, hurt my knees. And that became a facet of the whole trip and everything. So anyway, I just threw all of trying to do any podcasts or uploading videos. I threw that out the window, because it was just an experience.
It was survival.
Yeah. And so I want you guys to know that when those people are on the road and you're watching the videos of these people living glamorously out on the road and all that stuff, it is hard as hell. It is so tough. They've got so many hurdles, obstacles, things to overcome. So anyway, I hope to do better this next time that I go out and about and share some of it, because it's really, really a profound experience. And I do want to share from that. But other than that,
where will you share? Just so viewers can tune in.
On my personal YouTube channel, which is, I can't remember, it says Samantha Love Kaufmann. I believe it says Fire Within Me.
I think that's what it is.
And it's in the it's in the
show notes.
Show notes. Okay. And so I'm kind of wrapping up 2 years of blissful, just relaxation and just letting whatever's going to be. It's been a very interesting kind of occurrence happening over the past 2 years. I've learned about what is abundance, what it truly means, allowing the flow of things to occur, shifting myself into a better state of being, regardless of the circumstances. It's been so much personal growth. There's not been much outward contact with anyone. In fact, I've got friends who are just kind of like, haven't heard from you in a while. And I'm like, and I'm joking around and saying, well, the phone works both ways, because the thing is, we're all kind of doing this sequestering, we're in our bubbles. Mm-hmm. So it's just, and that kind of would have been really challenging for us to have done the podcast during this period of time. And now it feels like, the energy, everybody knows it's the year of the fire horse and all of the crazy astrological occurrences. If you don't know, you just jump on YouTube and you'll learn about it real easily. Yeah. There's so much happening out there. And I feel like that energy is now propelling me forward. So who knows? Like, I certainly don't know what's going to happen. I'm just going with the flow.
Yeah. I think the energy of this fire horse is, like you said, propulsion. Moving us, we've had time to contemplate now and to do our own inner growth and all of that. And now it's pushing us forward on our path without all of the things that have been bogging us down. Hopefully we've been getting rid of the baggage and all of that and contemplating our next steps. And I think it truly doesn't start till March. Is that right?
February 17th.
February 17th.
Which with the eclipse.
Oh, right. There's an eclipse.
Yeah. So I look at it like, at least for me, I don't know about y'all, but like, it's been like this, you get onto what do you call that? Roller coaster. Thank you. And like, you go up real slowly at first, and you're just going up slowly, and you start to go over the edge. And now the year of the fire horse is going to be like, and then you're going to be off and going.
And that's what the collective alluded to, I think, in maybe the December channeling.
So
is that we are at the crest of the roller coaster, and now it's going to get easier.
Yeah.
And fast.
And I mean, we've had those messages throughout. I mean, even through our end of 25 into 26, while we were over in Egypt, there was quite a few messages of the closing out of the old and opening up the new, and
the 1 year,
and all that. So it's been a kind of a repeated messaging that's been taking place.
Right. And so, like we talked about, we really, between summer and now, have also, if you guys have been watching, since you didn't have this podcast to watch, if you were coming on to our messages from the collective or listening, well, you wouldn't have heard our banter before and after. But to the people that were coming to our messages night, which is this coming Thursday, if we get this out on time, we're taping this on the 8th of February. But that Thursday, the second Thursday of every month, we do a free messages from the collective. So if you haven't joined us, please do. But when we chat there, I've been saying since, I don't know, November, October maybe, that I just felt there was going to be a change to our message night.
Mm-hmm.
And something happened. That we've been doing that every single month, every month for free for the community.
7 years.
For 7 years. Starting in our downstairs kitchen and then moving up to the treehouse and then moving here. And I just felt this change, not that we were stagnant. I think the messages were important, and whatever people asked, they received valuable answers, but that there needed to be some kind of change, whether it was some sort of teaching or something happening with Ascended Masters, which have been very present. And I'll be doing some work for my next book with Ascended Masters. So that's coming in, but I felt like something needed to change. And so for us, between summer and now, I think was this time of inner revealing.
Yeah.
That's the way
that's a good way to say it. It's a good way to say it.
And so we'll tell you about that at the end. But I think you agreed that we could share that you just had a session with your higher self.
Like just now,
yes.
Before we did this.
This past hour.
Yeah, an hour ago.
So it's very fresh in our mind, and it was such a great conversation.
And we're like, everybody needs to hear this stuff.
It's fresh in your minds.
True.
Oh, yeah.
It's a complete blank in mine.
So this will be fun for you, because we're going to tell you what happened. Will said he even felt that it was infused.
I did feel that this was, we've done probably 2-3 sessions with your higher self.
More than
Yeah, maybe more. This was definitely amped up in a different, Samantha herself was definitely there, but there was additional energy that was present to really amp it up and really. I
And
think-
once there's a little bit of smacking me around gently, but
Now, you know what, I get this all the time. I get that all the time, don't I? Those love texts.
I love taps.
I take the hit for people, because I'll ask questions during message night too,
Right.
that people have, and I know that I've talked to the collective about this, so they'll go, you already know this, or you've already talked about this, or they'll say something else. So I'm saying this on behalf of other people.
Yeah. I mean, they say it lovingly.
Oh, yeah.
And you know it's respectful, but you also know you're kind of going, yes, but I really want to know. I really ask the question.
Yeah. But I think what changes when you've had multiple sessions, we find this for other clients that have had 4 or 5 sessions or whatever, is it becomes more personal and more conversational. So, you know, the very first session that a client ever has, it's quite philosophical, because your higher self is connected to the all, and it's coming from this overarching perspective. It's not ever going to tell you what to do. And it really doesn't feel the need at that point to give you this kick in the pants motivational speech, right? But once you develop this rapport with your higher self and you've asked these questions, and
Well, and you've shown that you've worked, right? You've done some of
Yeah.
the work that your higher self has told you previously to do, and you've done some of that work, you've grown in a certain way.
Mhm.
Then the relationship opens even more. And I think that's the channel that really comes through in those later sessions. It's like,
Right.
okay, now you're ready for what we're ready to tell.
Yeah.
yeah, and they even said to you 2 years ago, you weren't ready to hear this. And now that you've done all of that work for the past 2 years, you were saying that you kind of felt like you were just being, right?
Yeah. This
That's-
past 2 years.
Mm.
But that is the lesson that we've been talking about over all of the length of the podcast, is trust and surrender. Just be. We're not human doings, we're human beings. And so that's a valuable skill to learn. You had to trust and surrender to your life flow. You said you were comfortable. You've just been comfortable in allowing, permitting what needed to happen, right?
Well, and and we always hear about like being the observer, and that we're this spiritual being observing, what's occurring and stuff. And that's not like a platitude, and it's not, it's a place to arrive to which to arrive. But it's a place that once you're there and you're experiencing it without having to think about it, it's just automatic. It really is a major life shift, and life gets quieter. It gets slower, but you can see things happening around you fast.
Mm.
But you just feel a state of peace
Right.
and kind of like, okay, anything that happens, you're like, this too shall pass.
Yeah.
I will move through this, and it's like, it's grace, and it's surrender, and solitude. And it's just, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
a really cool place to be.
So I think sometimes we discount that work,
Mhm.
or we feel like we're not doing enough, or
You
Not
guys have
accomplished.
literally witnessed me, like, through the podcast, and y'all, like, these guys have seen a huge transformation in me over the
Yeah.
years, going from this lack of confidence and, insecurity or unsureness or whatever. And now I'm just, I will say it PG, I'm fucking fearless.
living in FB.
Yeah.
I just, it's like, because I can deal with whatever occurs now.
Yeah.
And once you know that, then you're good.
We've talked about this over and over, throughout the other podcasts. Is there's a thing about empowerment that takes place, and that's really empowerment. That's what you're speaking of, is true empowerment of your own divine path.
It's
That's
exactly what her higher self said. She's
Okay.
empowered.
Yeah.
Well, we can jump into what the higher self was talking about.
Let's do it. We did want to leave you with some interesting tidbits and lessons that are so pertinent, just beautiful.
Mhm.
They're like Spirituality 101, and I wrote them down. You want to start? Do you remember?
See, now I'm kind of going, I don't know where to start.
Start with whatever question prompted, like how about the one about seeing into the future?
Oh yeah, because that was, I've said this over and over again, and I've talked to a couple of people who are having the same sensation as me, where, okay, we all know, we've all grown up with, if you're an 80s kid, having the 5-year plan. Got to have a 5-year plan. You can't know where you're going if you don't have a 5-year plan, right? And I can't do that to a 3-year, at least a 1 year. And I've recognized that I used to be able to do that. And then I kind of resisted. I went through a period of resisting it. Now I recognize I can't see beyond certain points. Like I know without a doubt, I'm doing this again, going out west, minivan camping stuff. And I'm going to be like I know that's a commitment. I know I'm doing that, but I can't see beyond that. And I don't know what all that trip is going to entail, because I hell didn't know what the last one was going to entail. So, I'm going, it's got to be better. But, it's, so I can't imagine planning. If somebody, like doctor's appointments, how they'll say, well, let's plan for your next yearly appointment.
December.
And I'm like, write it down, remind me, but I don't know where I'm going to be, I'll be available. But anyway, so I can't see beyond that date. And I've been wondering, why can't I? Is the world blowing up? Is something happening? Like I was looking for a really profound, like a tell. Yeah, they were going to say, that's when the shift was occurring. And then I could say, I got the answer for everybody. But I did get the answer for everybody, which was, do you want to say that?
I do want to say, I know that you guys are feeling this. I've heard it on Facebook. I've heard other people say that they just can't seem to bring themselves to make plans or buy a plane ticket or do something past a certain date. This has been happening for a number of months for people trying to make plans. And so if that's happened to you, leave it in the comments. We're curious how many of you out there have been having that sensation. We're going to give you at least one of the secrets. This might not be the case for everybody, but this was definitely valuable information.
Yeah, it was kind of a drop the mic moment for me. I mean, like, okay, there you go.
So quit leaving them in suspense. And
so you wrote it down. Now I'm going, so they basically said, well, you don't need to know. Because when you're in alignment and you're trusting in that higher path, you're trusting your higher self that you're going to know what you need to know when you need to know it, essentially. I'm kind of paraphrasing something Bashar said, but they were like, you're going to know what you need to do, like as it unfolds, as it occurs. Why ruin the surprise? Because now you're living in the trust of that moment as it unfolds. You're living in the now moment. So if you're living in the now moment, you're not going, well, what am I doing? Maybe you can play around and say, 5 years down the road, I hope this.
Sure.
But then that goes, that it's not going to look anything like that. You already are in acceptance that life unfolds in the moment. Why would you want to predict something for yourself in the future that could be so much less than what could possibly or potentially roll out? So they were just like, you're living in the now moment, you're in alignment. That's why you're experiencing this. It's like, kudos, you've arrived, you're doing the thing, The
example they gave, which I loved, is they said, if you make a plan for December, for example, and something happens between now and December, and you have your heart set, this is your goal, you have to accomplish this by December. Something happens that takes you on a detour, then you're upset about it because you're thinking, oh, this is interfering with my plan. I'm not going to make it by December. I can't reach this goal by December, and this is a problem. That's completely the wrong energy. The point is, if you're living in the now, in the moment to moment, and letting it unfold for you, then this opportunity over here arises. And you go, oh, let me explore this. And you're not upset because it's not ruining any plan. It's not, you know that this is the plan. This is purposeful. And you come back on your path and maybe there's another detour over here. So in other words, it changes the way you look at the detours. And so instead of looking at detours as, oh, this is messing me up, it's like, oh, this is a beautiful part of the plan. How nice that I was able to experience this. And it didn't interfere with anything else that's coming. It was just such a beautiful teaching point, I think.
And then it brought up a thing for me where, because Abraham Hicks, and people of the same thing, when they're talking about manifestation and, and I learned this secret a while back that, it's not the manifesting of the thing. It's not the having of the thing that brings you the joy. It's going for the feeling of the thing that you thought you wanted. If you can just circumvent the having of the thing and just go to the emotion that it brings you, then you are in the now moment. You are living in that present kind of whatever. So, as long as you're focused on that thing's always out in front of you, kind of eluding you.
Chasing the physical thing, not the emotion.
And so if you're in that present moment and you're in alignment that everything is working out, just as it's supposed to, then everything's so exciting. And I do believe that's what Abraham Hicks has been trying to get across. And everybody's been so focused on the manifestation. You just focus on it hard enough and do your message board and envision and all that kind of, your message board, with it, vision board. Yeah. And if you try, you do stuff. And I'm telling you guys, that's not it. It's totally not it. You can do all that stuff and it's always fun to do, but it helps clarify what you do desire in your life, what you don't want, and helps you move towards, but it's really in the allowance. It's really in the flow and the I say gratitude, but then I know that's another pitfall that we have where we go, oh, I'm so grateful for this, but won't that bring me more things? Right. And it's not that.
I mean, it's not the picking. Great. But don't look at the vision board as, you're putting a bunch of stuff on the vision board that you physically wanted, right? But sit back and then sit with what emotions does it bring up.
Yeah.
As you're creating it, that emotion is going to create what you're putting on the board.
Mm-hmm.
It may not show up in the Ferrari, but it might show up in the new car that you need because your other car just broke down and you were gifted a new car or a car that whatever.
Right.
It's how that feeling is, and that's the state of flow. That's the state of being or presence that we talk about.
Well, going back to what you said about the December plan, if you I want to reach a goal by December. Well, you're kind of doing the same thing. If you keep looking at the objects on the vision board as you're setting those as the goal. I'm not going to be happy until I have a house that has the white picket fence, And so you keep looking for houses with white picket fences going, why don't I have that yet? And you keep putting out to the universe, I don't have that. It's like,
yeah.
You've just changed the dynamic of the conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there is an art to this, but the art is so incredibly simple and you don't understand that until you let go of ego and you just embrace where you are and find happiness with where you are.
Because even with Abraham Hicks and all of that sort of stuff, the point is being in gratitude and attempting to manifest or whatever is not a means to an end. It is the end. You are to be in gratitude, not because being in gratitude is going to bring me those things that I want.
Or just being gratitude because you did get the Ferrari, right? It's
the gratitude itself that is the energy that you're exuding. And when you're just grateful and you exude that energy, the universe can't help but match that energy.
Well, and so my husband was doing this exercise, that somebody had given to him. And, and I'm sure we've all kind of done this, where you list the 10 things or 5 things at the end of the day that you're grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
Well, once you've done that for about a week, 2 weeks, you find that you're repeating things and you're trying to be creative and come up with new things. And then it becomes this effort of being grateful and trying to make things happen to be grateful, and the thing is, it really is that helps you to focus on, oh, I feel this feeling. So it's to get you used to the feeling, but then you just have to be in the moment of feeling just grateful, just for being, for breathing, and you don't have to name it. You're just it.
Just great. Yeah, that's a good point.
So it's experiencing the emotion of,
or maybe not to make yourself do 10 or 5 or 3 or whatever it is, even if it's one thing.
Yeah.
It's just to match the energy.
One, I noticed for myself, and we've, this has happened quite frequently, where we're just sitting somewhere on a porch somewhere, or just sitting just quiet and I'll get into that mode of gratitude, and I feel that emotion of gratitude. But the one thing I was focusing on that comes up with that gratitude then leads to another, and then leads to another, and then it just opens this path of gratitude to all things that are currently taking place or what have taken place that have got me here. So then it opens up a whole nother stream of energy that I really haven't been to. So it's
looks like you begin to seek those moments,
right,
which then those moments are finding you more often.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's so just know that the main thing is, if you can't figure out what's happening next, if you just can't see it, that's actually a good thing.
Yeah, you're probably on the right track. Yeah, you're living in the now and you're in the flow. Yeah. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
The other thing that we hear a lot, now we've experienced it, all 3 of us. We also have clients who, virtually every client has this question at some point, and that is, when do I get to quit my 3D job? Right? Or when can I get out of this relationship, or whatever this difficulty, this challenge is. And it's mostly about jobs, because people who are drawn to this want to work with their gifts, their spiritual gifts. They've turned on now their gifts, and they have mediumship or whatever it is, and they want to work with clients because it is so fulfilling. And you're in this love, especially if you're channeling or conscious channeling or whatever, and you're in this love and you're helping people, and it's profound work, and we get it. And so even myself, being in the public school system, I've been like, when am I going to be liberated from this? When do I get to do all of this work full time? And your higher self gave the most beautiful answer to this.
What did he say?
We personally always tell our clients that, just because yes, you want to do this work full time, but just because you have a skill or a modality does not mean you're supposed to quit your job, because we still need spiritual people in banking and in government and in the schools.
You're not supposed to all
Like, if we all leave, then we're just leaving everybody to their own devices. We need the energy within those systems that need to be revamped, right? So there's that issue. But then how do you reconcile with that? A lot of the other answer I want to give real quick that we hear from our clients' higher selves is that if you're on the beginning of your spiritual journey, oftentimes you're in a job where you feel stagnant, but you could do it with your eyes closed. So you have health benefits, you have money coming in so that you can grow yourself, so that you can evolve yourself. So if you're on the beginning of this path, it might be that you're staying there as a means to an end so that you can be supported while you do this work. Because if you
staying in a relationship,
or
live in a family still, or whatever.
Because it gives you safety and security to do that work, right? But if you jumped into a new job, for example, there's a learning curve and you're going to be distracted, and you might work extra hours or whatever it is, and you put yourself on the back burner because that's what happens. So sometimes that's the reason. But in the case of your higher self, they explained that they said there's two things here. You have, in Samantha's case, this particular perhaps job she doesn't want to do.
I'm good at it.
But she has these other spiritual gifts. She does tarot, and she's starting to dabble into astrology work and channeling and all of this other stuff, right?
And AI.
And AI, but that AI is a 3D. I want to keep it.
Oh, okay, we're going
So you have
spiritual. Yeah.
either real estate or AI or whatever over here.
Yeah.
To have business stuff that you want to work
3D.
with. And then over here, 3D. And then over here is what you consider your 5D gifts. And this is your joy. And you like helping people, even if the people are a little difficult, you can help them. And
I would never say that about anyone.
everybody's got their own personality. It is what it is, right? And some people are frustrated and they come to us because they need guidance. They're hitting roadblocks. So they might be abrasive or whatever. So anyway, but you don't mind helping those people in a spiritual sense because you feel like that's your mission and that's your purpose. And that's, so you want to do this full time, right? Well, they said, if you can look at this a little bit different, these are also people who need your help, whether they're business clients or real estate clients or my students, whatever they are, they need that energetic connection. Here, it's just an energetic connection. You're helping them energetically. So you can do the same thing over here. You can help them energetically. It's just the way you perceive these types of clients because you don't think that's spiritual work.
Well,
But if you bring your spiritual work into the 3D, that same perspective and those same, what do they call them? Skills and processes is what they call it. A process that you use over here, use it over here, and you'll find joy and fulfillment. Go ahead.
well, just that they're saying, when you were saying the abrasive thing and all stuff, these clients are no less difficult. And the reason why I said that, I love all my clients, they're all great because the thing is I approach it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so, because this is work that I enjoy doing, so I see everybody as, this godsend, I'm ready to help them and all. And I should be seeing it that same way, or not should, but it would benefit me, there's literally no difference. And so because it's particular work that I may not really want to do as much, I'm kind of dissing this experience over here.
And how helpful you are over there.
Yeah. And so because the thing is, I do use my intuitive gifts. I can feel out a house. I can feel out the energy that's going on between a couple and their wants and needs. And And, you know, and a lot of what you do in real estate is therapy. It's, you know, and helping people.
And what do they call it? Couples counseling.
Yes.
The guy wants this and the woman wants this and you're.
Yeah. So there's, you know, I am utilizing a lot of that. And so, you know, it just, but the thing that, you know, really trying to discern is, you know, what am I ready to move on from certain things? What's holding me back? You know, so it's kind of like find joy no matter where you are. Apply those gifts no matter where you are. Then once you're doing that, I think is when you go,
The clarity will come.
yeah, now, am I doing this because I feel a sense of responsibility or obligation? Is it really that it's time for me to move on, that I'm feeling stagnant? So find joy where you are, then make the decisions, then really investigate it. I think that was really kind of because I was in such resistance, because they're going, oh, you could go into real estate, be fine, you'll be happy. And I'm sitting there going, stop saying that. Tell me that I'm supposed to speak to you. But then I was hearing, no, like, understand it's as equally, it can be equally as enjoyable. You need to, it's almost like it's my shortcoming for not recognizing.
You're not allowing your human emotion to dictate the choice. You're allowing your connection to what you're doing. You're meaning
your connection to
your
the
alignment to
yes,
it. Right.
yes,
So
yes.
when you make that shift, even slightly in alignment to the things you're maybe not happy with, you get more clarity instead of fighting, quote unquote, fighting the emotional tie to. Because in an emotion, that's your human trying to make the decision, saying, I don't want to do this. Instead of going, well, wait a minute, there is a reason why I'm here. What's that reason? Now let me come into alignment with it. Now I can see clarity. And you still might make that choice of leaving, but that choice of leaving is going to be better understood than, you know, or if you make the choice of staying, then you understand why you're staying, because now there is a purpose behind why you're there.
Because what you're doing is you're changing your energy and you're changing the energy of you in that situation. And once you do that, then you're vibrating the right energy that's going to give you clarity and options and opportunities that you never saw before. So once you reconcile with that, whatever that looks like, then you might even see more opportunities than just the AI business.
Well, it's true, because where I recognize the sticking point for me is the freedom. It's freedom, like, and that's everyone's kind of ultimate goal, is that freedom of expression, right? And the way in which that impinges on my freedom is that I can't leave my minivan set up as a camper van.
Right.
But there's this, you know, with the having to take everything out. When I take everything out of my minivan, I feel trapped. I feel like I can't just throw my stuff in the back of the car and take off.
Yeah.
Am I going to take off? Am I going to go to the mountains and do what? Not necessarily. It might be another 3 months. But like right now, I just set it up for a camping trip that my friend Lori and I did down to Florida.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, and just embracing that feeling of freedom doing that. It's so intense and it's challenging, but it's fun. So there are challenges and yet I'm enjoying. So there's the freedom. And then coming back and going, okay, now I should pull all of this out so that I can take clients around. And that immediately made me start going, resist.
Yeah.
So it's really not the people. And it's not the responsibility so much of doing it, but it impinges on what to me, like, you know how you do have it, if anyone's ever done a values chart. And like, there's a place you can go to online where it keeps pitting you against certain values. So you keep refining and getting clarity on what you're, well, my number one value, it, you know, of course, love and all that kind of stuff, but it's freedom. Freedom is so important to me. And I spout it all the time. I even told you guys, like, sure, I'd be okay if my daughter decided to have a child, but I don't want to be a grandmother right now because I feel an obligation. So freedom is my number one. So find happiness, recognize, you know, how you can bring your spiritual gifts into everything you do.
Yeah.
And then recognize, okay, so now what is that thing that I'm feeling resistance towards? And how do I then get in alignment?
Well, and I think finding the joy within the job, for example, is what diffuses the resistance. And so once you stop having the energy of resistance and you're okay, and this is the same thing that Abraham Hicks talks about with gratitude, with being grateful for what is right now, And that's the energy that will bring what it is you think that you want or need on your path. So being okay with what's happening. So being okay in this job, because that's what is. So being okay with what is will eventually bring you into the energy that will give you clarity on your choices. What your higher self mentioned also was, if you really are what you would call stuck in a job and you just don't know how you can find that joy, find one little thing in that job that brings you joy, whether it's a particular person you like to talk to every day when they come into work, whether it's the morning in your cubicle with your hot coffee, whatever it is, the carpet on the floor that you enjoy, whatever. Fine.
Has there ever been a job where you like the carpet on the floor?
The reason that I say this is because they came in, I don't know if it was this past summer or the summer before, and the district said, we're going to change all the flooring. I don't know why I'm whispering, like I don't want them to know that I'm saying
Right,
this.
they're hearing you.
They changed all the flooring and they took all the carpet up and put tile everywhere. First of all, I didn't want to move everything out of my office. My office is big and has tons of heavy stuff, and they never put it back right. So I didn't want them to do that. And secondly, I like the carpet because it muffles it. It gives it more comfort. It quiets and deadens the sounds in there. I don't want old sterile tile. So I'm thankful for the carpet in my office. My office is the only one with carpet in the whole building. So somehow I managed, and they forgot about me and never came back to put tile in.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
So if you guys are working in this, don't tell anybody.
So I want everyone, as these realizations are hitting you, I want you to look down the next time you're at work and just observe. Do you love your carpet? Find something about your carpet or your flooring that you can
Because
love.
the interesting thing is, they had just put the new carpet in the whole building, like 2-3 years before that. So the carpet was relatively new, and then they're going to rip it all out and put tile. A wood floor.
I want people to put that in the comments.
Right there.
Please tell me what your
One little stain over in the corner, I really.
But it looks like a heart.
Right.
It looks like a heart.
Or you can see people and things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody's profile.
Yeah.
My spirit guide.
Mother Mary is over in the corner.
Right. That's
Oh my
hilarious.
gosh.
So anyway, whatever it is that brings you joy in your job, find that and then
Right.
build on it. Because then with that one, you'll see something else and you'll see something else. And then you have this little ball of joy.
Think about it like little kernels of popcorn. Those little
Yeah.
kernels, you make that popcorn pop, and that little kernel pops. That's enjoyment. Well, find the next kernel, make it pop. Next one, make it pop. Then you find this enjoyment in really everything.
So when you go to work tomorrow, think about this conversation and you'll laugh and you'll find something to be joyful about, I'm sure.
And your coworkers there.
Right,
You need to
right,
listen to this podcast.
Yeah. And then you can turn them onto this podcast and open up that line over there. You got a conversation. So was there anything else in your session that you wanted to share that you thought was profound that you remember, or I think we hit the big ones?
Well, okay, so not to sit here and do like a huge plug for you guys, but I'm going to say that is correct what you were saying, that with the higher self, that like when you have the first conversation, like I remember this time going, okay, Allison, I really want you to ask the questions in this way. I don't want the philosophical answers. I want like, and she's like, they're just going to say, X, Y, Z. And I'm like, yeah, but let's try to nail them. But as you have more conversations, it's like you're ready to dig in a little bit more. And as they see you making improvements, it's kind of like, okay, my brother, he doesn't say this.
At least you hope he does.
Yeah. My brother, when we lived in California, and he would come in after every date and he would say, is she the one? And he'd ask me to do a reading on it. Well,
Oh my gosh.
it got to the point where the cards literally, like I was coming up with blanks, like it was not making sense. Like I would look at it and I'm going, David, I can't even make anything up out of this. Like I can't see it. You just can't make something fit. And then I got like a download one time and I'm like, David, they're done with you. They're just like, stop. So if you keep coming back, asking the same question
Right.
and not doing the work of the information they're giving you, they kind of go, okay, they're not listening. They're not ready for this, and like they'll still respond, but you're not going to get the depth as you'll start to get. So I'm saying you got to like, just don't do the one appointment and just go, or one session and just go, okay, well, that was all philosophical. I don't know how to apply any of that. It's like, take what they say, let it sit with you, then, develop some questions around it. Like, okay, I couldn't apply this in this scenario. Come back and then ask those questions. And I think you're going to find that you get a deepening. I've got clients that have been coming to see me. I think one of them we figured out it's been 10 years. And another one, I love it because it's like a fast fire round, like Abraham Hicks style. It's just like, okay, so I had a question about this and I did this that they said last time. And like, it's so much fun because the answers, I'm sitting there going, whoa, this is so cool. The information that comes out.
Right.
So embrace, get into those. Don't just go, well, that didn't give me what I want. I'm going to go see someone else.
And that's sad. A lot of people do that. They don't get the right answer, they think, from one person. So they see another person, or they want to do another session in a month with us and they haven't incorporated it.
Yeah.
If you get a session by anybody, us or whoever, re-listen to it, take notes, reread the notes. I'm still rereading, by the way. We had a session early on, I think it was early in 2018 with our friend Monty, who channels a lot of galactic beings before we were doing any of it.
Yeah.
And I still reread that and go, wow, she was so on target. And a lot of it, when I read it the first time, didn't make a lot of sense because I didn't have a context for all of it. But now I'm like, she was so spot on. And if you do that and reread stuff, you'll see how far you've gone.
Well, grow each time that you reread it or re-listen to it, because it's like anything. You read a book once, it's profound. You read it again, you find really more profound moments within, say, a paragraph that you thought you just read through. There's such profound moments in it. So but
it meets you at a certain level.
Yeah.
When
you're ready for it, it's there. So
again, getting to the point where I feel like I have arrived in this moment is all of it really is as simple as being in the present moment now, but it's very challenging for us to slow down and do that because what if, but so now it's like, okay, we go deeper now because you can start having these very different kinds of conversations because you're not asking the basic stuff that they're trying to tell you, it's like, think how many times you've listened to Eckhart Tolle. Like I could never understand his stuff, the power of now.
Oh, I know. I used to be like,
that's vague as hell.
Yeah, right.
But now it makes sense.
I do that. Oh yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, many things like that.
And it's, also you find that source that begins to resonate with you as well. So there is a coming together of the energy, a purifying of it where, it's not just like spirit, well, they can give you, these multidimensional beings, these whatever can give you this information. You're developing a relationship and this pattern, this understanding. It's not like they just suddenly know you inside and out and there you go and you're done,
Yeah.
It's not, there's so much more to this that I'm learning. I'm still learning. I've been doing it 35 plus years and I'm still.
Absolutely. Good. That's the bulk of the content we wanted to share with you. I hope you found that valuable, but we have a really important kind of moving forward announcement that you're not even aware of yet.
No, and my heart was just kind of going, what the hell is this?
Okay, so as we said, we have been thinking a lot about how to change up what we've been doing. We've been doing kind of the same sorts of stuff that have been very rewarding, and we love meeting all of you guys and talking to you and doing all the things. But we have been feeling, I would even say for at least a year.
I'm laughing because it sounds like you guys are just going to sell everything and go to Aruba.
Well,
not quite that trend.
Maybe.
We do want to let you know we are going to Egypt again. And I think we mentioned
you didn't touch that one.
Well, we played a joke on our daughter a couple weeks ago where we messaged her, said, we're thinking about selling everything, moving to Egypt.
And we just left it there.
And we just left it.
To see what her reaction would be. Anyway,
No,
because when I have kids and you have grandkids, you better be planning on spending a lot on airplane fares or whatever. But anyway, while we were still in Egypt, we just knew we had to come back. I don't know what it was. The same inspiration that hit me to go in the first place hit me again, and so we are going back at the end of December.
And if you haven't seen the 6 episodes that we put together just specifically for Egypt, please go back and watch those. And there is a specific YouTube channel or a YouTube video I put up of our 2025 trip, so it gives you a feel of what the next one will be. So
yeah, we'd love to see some of y'all join us. But at any rate, we knew that things were going to change up. We just didn't know what that would look like. So we were introduced to a platform called School, Skool, School. There's lots of other platforms like Mighty Network, Circle, some other things like that. Patreon, I think, was one that's been around a long time. And for a while, it was about resisting putting things behind a paywall. There were a lot of things we wanted to be free, has always been free. A lot of these messages humanity deserves to have. And we just didn't reconcile with putting things behind a paywall. But now, right now, we have decided that we are going to build a community on the School platform. And this is more than putting things behind a paywall. This really isn't about that. But what it is about creating a community that you all don't just listen to us talking to you, but you actually participate
interact
more richly in a community. Now, sometimes people do that on Facebook, and we have a group of people that do that with us on Facebook, and we converse back and forth. Or sometimes we've had courses like the origin story, and we've created communities there. But this will be more of a permanent community. So within this community that we're going to build, we're going to be able to converse. We're going to have Q&As live with us back and forth on Zoom. We're going to have the monthly channeling is going to be moving to that platform, so it won't be put up automatically on YouTube, or we won't be sending out a Zoom link for people to participate in that way. We're going to have it actually live within the community, so you'll be receiving that. We're going to have special trance channelings again of the Ascended Masters and teachings and the things that have been brewing.
Right.
Like I've sensed the Ascended Masters wanting to do some educational types of teaching lessons, or 6-week, continuous learning classes or what have you.
Yeah.
And so we're going to be able to provide that a more rich experience, more interactive, more teaching rather than just sit and get, as we say in the
Some
school
very
district.
informational ebooks that we're putting together for that.
We have ebooks, we're going to have videos, we're going to have all kinds of stuff on there for what we think is a really reasonable low price. A lot of people were donating out of the goodness of their heart, and we thank you for that, for the monthly message nights. And they were donating anywhere from 11 to 20, sometimes 40 or more. So they're already paying for just one channeling experience with the opportunity
you get a whole stack of
Right.
things for this on a
So-
recurring basis.
So we think this will be a
That makes
win-win
sense.
for everybody, for us and for you all, because as we, again, approach retirement, which was the reason that we moved from the treehouse here, we have to think of ways that we can support the community and the community can support us also, and
It
that we
has to be two-way. I mean,
work together, right?
Giving and receiving. Yep.
Right. So we're super excited about it. It's school, SKOOL.com. You can go in there and start looking around at the communities that are there and how it works. But we will post a specific link
To
that
join
goes
our
to
community.
our community once it's built.
Yeah.
We anticipate, again, this is coming out February 8th. We're taping it February 8th.
Close to the end of the month, we're hoping.
Yeah, so we think by the March channeling, it probably will be up and running. So you can look here on the YouTube channel and you'll see our school community link that'll take you right to our community to join if you wish. And we would love to see some of the same faces and some of the same names joining us there, so we can talk to you more and get to know you more than you just leaving a brief, comment on YouTube and we're answering you.
Yeah,
We
YouTube
look
isn't quite.
forward. Yeah, we look forward to getting building those relationships, getting to
More
know you.
person, yeah, more person.
Absolutely.
Oh, and-
Any other announcements?
Well, yeah, and I'll, it's funny because I've tried to do communities in the past, and it's kind of, I don't know, it's not, there's not been enough synergy, I guess, or whatever, but I do want to let people know that that I'm doing an experimental program, and it's kind of like you, it's in an effort to make more connection, to be more readily available. And I've mentioned it before, and now it's going online, but it's called On Call Intuitive. And the idea is that you pay a monthly fee and you have access via voicemail, like texting or voicemail, preferably voicemail, voice messages, I should say. And so you're able to reach me like 24/7, basically. I'm only going to respond during business hours, but it's like a 24/7 kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's like having, a BFF with intuitive abilities.
Yeah.
And I got this idea because my friends, I've got a lot of girlfriends that are calling me and they'll say, hey, what do you think about this? And we'll just start talking. And all of a sudden their dad, who's passed crossed over, like we'll come in and I'm like, well, they're saying this, you know, like it's just all of this kind of neat back and forth. And because a lot of what I do is spiritual coaching. And so the idea is that I'm going to start off with only so many people. And we've got to feel it out. If you want to be one of those people, just reach out to me. But it's going to be a really neat thing where you're able to do, like, you don't have to wait and save up all these questions for a Thursday appointment at 5 o'clock at night, right when you get off of work, you know. Instead, when something comes up, you're trying to stay in alignment. You're trying to understand how to deal with a difficult person or whatever it is. It's in that moment. In the now moment, you can reach out to me and hopefully I can respond right away. It might, you know, I might be in a session. It might take me a little bit, but you know that now it's like you've got someone, it's almost like ask a nurse, ask an intuitive, but it's on call intuitive. So anyway, I'm excited to be bringing that out and seeing how many people that I can assist at a given moment. I'm going to start off with 10. So there's only 10 slots starting off. And I hope to move that up to 20, you know, and then there's probably going to be a community aspect to that. Because a lot of times people are asking kind of the same questions. And so, or they're afraid to ask and they hear, you know, if they can hear someone else ask it and get the information. So anyway, it's, you know, it's a little bit different than what you guys are involved in and doing and stuff. Because mine's more like the one-to-one spiritual coaching kind of stuff. But anyway, and to get to this point that I've arrived at, you know, living in this alignment and all this kind of stuff. But anyway, I'm really excited about the mentoring, like, you know, the mentors coming in and teaching stuff.
A lot of neat stuff lined up for the school community. We've been doing content over the past couple of weeks, creating content, and it's going to be really exciting.
Putting the whole stable of information together before we actually build the platform, instead of building it and then trying to figure it out. We've got a good idea of what it's going to look like and what's all going to be available at the moment you enter it.
And you know what else is neat about this is that everything's going to be housed in one area. So you don't have to have a course that's over here on this platform and then sign in on Zoom on Tuesdays for this.
So this is, so I mean, if for those that kind of are familiar with our website, and some people have asked about it, there's a Treehouse, I think it's called, or Palm and Lotus Academy that we have the tab up there for, and it's kind of coming soon. This is something we've thought about for probably the last 2 years at least. And I've got a thing baked into my website and it's functional. But when we came across
this, a course builder.
Yeah, it's a course builder.
We were going to create courses, but then again, you can do all of that on the platform.
Right. And so when we came across this, it really made sense to have more of a community feel and do what we're already doing there. We're not going to stop our sessions. So if you still would like a pet session or a galactic session or a personal channeling session, any of that, that's all still available.
Absolutely.
You know, and even for our local community, we're not stopping any of the events that we're doing up here in the Treehouse. It's still going to continue. So that's still going to be available.
This is an outreach.
This is just one extension of our services. Yeah.
And in fact, the 22 tier is you get most everything, the access to the channelings and the Q&As with us and all of that sort of stuff. The 44 tier, the point of that was for those who are ready to really do the inner work and want to go deeper and have more personal information. So there will be one separate channeling per month where that group gets to determine who it is we bring forth. Who do they want to talk to? Who do they want to hear from, right? So they're going to have that type of thing. They're going to have a free galactic alignment report. So that's already $33 right there that they're going to find out who their galactic alignments are. They're going to have discounts on personal sessions, things like that. So it's going to be for those who want to go deeper and the others that just want to have the monthly stuff and they're not ready, then for a reasonable cost, they're going to have lots of neat things that are available to them. So we're super excited. It's so much fun to sit around and plan all of the content and think what people would like and how we can interact with them. I'm just super excited about it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Right? Yay. So is this goodbye? In this form it is, but we're just going to say hello.
Is it?
We're going to say hello.
I still want to say, is it? Because who knows? You might see this little sign behind us at some point, maybe down the.
Don't tease, because then people just keep waiting and asking.
I know.
You just don't. You know what? I've learned never say never.
That's true.
Yeah, never say never. But yes, and right now at the
in
moment.
this form,
right now.
It's not. It's just saying pause and come over with us.
Just reach out to us in the other forms that you've always had availability to do so.
Because you'll have this conversation, but you'll be able to to talk, and we'll be able to interact and have fun together, right?
Mhm.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It has been amazing run for 2.5 years, really, on Out on a Limb podcast. We thank you so much for joining us. And on behalf of all of us,
Yep.
we're in gratitude. Until next time.
See y'all.